Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. Honored and excited to be connecting in with you. And in April, what we have been focused on is how do we overcome challenges and not just survive them, but thrive. And I like to look at April showers bring May flowers. So it's kind of like we are facing storms in our life. And when we face them, not if, because we're all going to face storms at one time or another, we might be in one. How do we deal with that? What do we have in our toolkit to support us, to help us come through that storm and not just survive it, but thrive? And I think storms can frequently clear away, blow away some clutter that we can have in our life. They can help us refocus and look at what matters to us, what's important to us. It can show things about ourselves we may not have been aware of because things were going along smoothly. And so I think there's great opportunity in those storms, in those challenges, and not that they're a great joy to go through or easy, but there are some gifts and opportunities in them. And so today we've got an amazing lineup of experts that are leaning into us to talk about how can we transform our life? How can we overcome challenges and thrive in practical and profound ways? And those of you listening today, joining us today, I want to encourage you to listen for those things you can add to your toolbox. Listen for those ahas that you can weave into your life. We're going to have opportunities throughout the show for you to stop, pause, breathe, and integrate what is being spoken into your heart and spirit. And I know there is something here for you today by the very nature that you tuned in. So to get the most out of our time together today, I want to invite you to be fully present. Resist the urge to multitask, to cross things off the to-do list. Really invite yourself to be fully present, mind, body, soul, and spirit. Those of you who are driving, please stay safe, both hands on the wheel. No texting and driving, you're inwardly tuning in. Those of you who are able to, I'm going to encourage you to sit back in your chair, feel it supporting you. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head, bringing you all in, mind, body, soul, and spirit. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Fill your belly, see how big you can make it. Out through your mouth, like through a straw. Close your eyes, you're safe. Keep breathing. This kind of breathing helps you become present. It brings oxygen to every cell in your body. It relaxes your system and energizes it at the same time. Lowers your stress levels, your cortisol levels. And when we're present, keep breathing and fully oxygenated, we can have clarity, peacefulness, make better choices because we're in the moment instead of the moment running and driving us. So in this space, as you're stopping for a moment and you're listening, sinking into this space, what is it that you need today? What is it that will encourage you, support you, empower you, especially when the storms come, whether you're in a storm now or you're preparing for a future storm? What is it that you need today that will encourage you and empower you and support you? That you are willing to receive because you have choice. So what is it that you need and are willing to receive? See if that shifts the information a little bit. Take another breath. Wonderful. Come back into the room, fully present, eyes open, and take a moment to write down what was laid on your heart, what it is that you need and are willing to receive. I want you to get it out of you and be able to see it. Keep it top of mind because it's easy to get distracted and miss the very thing that you need that might be right in front of you. So let's put down what it is that you need and are willing to receive what was laid on your heart. And I want to encourage you to be unattached to the how that need is met, but instead be looking forward to, with excitement and anticipation of the wonderful and unexpected way that very need may be met. Let's breathe that in. Wonderful. Great. And we're going to go around our virtual room here as we connect in with our amazing experts that are leaning into supporting us in this conversation today, and just see what was laid on their heart when we took a moment to stop, pause, and listen. Mekita, I'd love to know what was laid on your heart.
Thank you. It was needing ease and that path of least resistance, and not trying to figure out what that is, but just relaxing into the flow and allowing it to show itself instead of trying to create it, just allowing it to show up.
Oh, I love that. Allowing it to show up. And that just feels so much better than trying to make it happen. Allowing it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. And how about you, Dr. Julee? What was on your heart?
Oh my, Rebecca. So many things fleeting back and forth. First, I want to say that I'm truly feeling so much gratitude and joy for the opportunity to speak to all of your wonderful listeners, and that really is wonderful in itself. And I think the other thing that crossed my mind is the fact that we are all able to unlearn all the negative, all the unproductive, all the things that we, are no longer serving us. And I'm hoping that not only I can do that myself and continue to do it because it's a hard job, but also I can help your listeners to do so. And I thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Glad to have you here. And I could feel that gratitude and joy. It's always such a pleasure and an honor and a joy when we can come together. And I feel like when two or more of us are gathered, it's amazing what can happen and can be brought forth in all of our lives. And I appreciate what's been laid powerfully on your heart. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And David, how about you? What was laid on your heart? Oh, David, are you there? Oh, well, we will learn what was on David's heart after our first commercial break. So as we get ready to go into our first commercial break, I want to encourage you to utilize this time just for you. Give yourself the opportunity to really see what was being laid on your heart, what's been laid on your spirit. Resist that urge to race and get things done on the to-do list. Really invite yourself to be very present. And David just connected back in. So David, I would love for you to share what was laid on your heart.
Thank you. I'd love to share. I lost you there for a minute. It's funny what Mekita said was because I was thinking of the same thing, was just rest. Sometimes we swim against the flow so much that we forget to just stop and go, well, where's the river actually taking me? And then see where that leads us, because it might be something, like you said, unexpected and new that we haven't thought of.
Yes. Oh, beautiful. And I love that because it's a great picture of us swimming against the current and resisting instead of realizing, oh, let's actually see where this might be going.
Exactly.
and does that serve us? Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. So listeners, absolutely. Listeners, for real, we're going to go to our commercial break now. And I want to give you these 2 minutes to really stop, pause, and listen to what's being spoken into your heart and spirit. Perhaps some of what our guest shared has added another layer there that you're adding to what you are feeling and thinking and hearing. And we'll look forward to continuing the conversation in 2 minutes.
Be sure to friend us on Facebook. You can do it right now. Visit facebook.com/Voice America or search for us at keyword Voice America.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Get Unchained. Tune in every Monday for Jane Unchained on the Voice America Influencers channel, featuring nationally recognized best-selling author, TV journalist, and social media influencer Jane Velez Mitchell. This program takes you inside a trending lifestyle that's the next wave of human evolution. It all starts on your plate. If you want to revolutionize your life, get happier, more energized, then discover the secret. Tune in to Jane Unchained Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Influencers channel.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Have you had a chance to check out Voice America's online magazine and blog? If you love our hosts and shows, check out articles that give an even deeper perspective, plus topics about health and fitness, movie reviews, philosophy, business tips and tactics, spirituality, positive thought, current events, and even more about your favorite host. It's just a click away at blog.voiceamerica.com. That's blog.voiceamerica.com. The Voice America Press Blog. All access, all the time. We don't follow, we lead. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that you gave yourself an opportunity to stop, pause, breathe, and really be present with what's being spoken into your heart and spirit. In the opening segment, you got to hear on a heart level from Mekita, and I wanted to share a little bit more about her as we go into a more in-depth conversation around really helping you overcome challenges, really thriving powerfully and purposely in your life. So Melanie McDaniel, there we go, known as Mekita, is passionate about choices. She is aggressively enthusiastic, and I love that. I don't always see those two words together. I love that. Aggressively enthusiastic about self-exploration and healing. Her mission is to help people live life consciously and lean into all they are called to be. Please warmly welcome the amazing, powerful, and aggressively enthusiastic Mekita to the show. Welcome!
Thank you very much for having me here. It's funny, a lot of people kind of have a negative connotation with aggressive, and I really like the Founding Fathers talked about the rattlesnake was one of the proposed animals for the country, and they said a rattlesnake does not attack, but will aggressively defend itself when attacked. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of been my stance, is I'm not going to go out and attack anything, but if you come towards me, I'm going to take care of it.
Beautiful. I love that, and I did not know that about the rattlesnake. So I look at that, some trivia that we're learning today as well. Thank you. Beautiful. And I'd love to start our conversation with why. Why is this work of helping people powerfully with honest self-exploration and healing, really both eyes open as they're going through that process, why is that so personally important to you?
So it's two reasons. It's really important to me because I genuinely believe that when we heal ourselves, we heal the world. And if we want to have any kind of impact, it starts with us and us being the example that other people get to say, oh, it's possible to come through that. It's possible to live in this way. And then beyond that, my partner in life and business, Harry Sherwood, and I very much have our spiritual philosophy in that that's why we're here. We're here to do this work and to come back into our wholeness and into our true selves.
Beautiful. And I love that picture because sometimes we think so much of this is outside of ourselves or so big, but really that doing that does heal that around us as well. I think it's so important. I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
And just so we're all on the same page, because I think we can use, just like you were talking about aggressively, how we can have different connotations or different ideas of what words mean. So you use this phrase, living consciously. Can you share, what does that mean to live your life consciously? What does that mean to you?
Consciousness is many things. It can be a very loaded word, and we can have a 10-minute conversation or a 10-day conversation about it. In the simplest form, for us, it's awareness. Am I aware of the impact of my life? Am I aware of the choices that I make and why I'm making them? And am I actively participating in those things? So many people don't realize what choices they make on a daily basis. And there was a project a friend of mine did where they just carried a bag with them all day for a week and kept all their trash in the bag. And after the end of the week, they realized how much they actually had because they had to carry this bag all day. And it's these kind of simple things that really bring in to our awareness, what do we do? What do we believe? Do we reflect our values? If I followed you around for a week, could I tell you what you value and what you believe in based on how you actually choose to live and being in alignment with all of those things?
Beautiful. And what are our actions showing us about our beliefs? That's beliefs. I mean, that's really, really powerful. Thank you for sharing, because I think we hear those words, but we don't always know what it means. So that's beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. And it means something different to everybody. So that's what it means for us.
I love it. And I love that powerful awareness. What choices are we making? And is that in alignment with what we thought we believe or what we believe? But without awareness, we don't know if there's some shifting that we want to make or not. Yeah. So when we're looking at this and this awareness and bringing it to that conversation the conversation we're having around challenges and overcoming, how do those tie together? What are some things when we're going on a healing journey, in particular, challenges that we can be facing, or perhaps a challenge can start us on our healing journey? I'd love to see how those connect for you.
They connect pretty completely because for me, I have a lot of PTSD. I've been in a lot of manipulation situations, and I realized one day I'm not making any of my choices. Other people are making my choices for me, and I don't even know what questions to ask to know what choice I want to make. And so when we have challenges, whether it's trauma or just making a decision in your life or in your business or in your relationship, it's really important to understand what the situation is and who you want to be in that. And so often when people are confused or struggling or really just in the depths of it and they can't come out, if we are able to sit back into what does this mean to me? Who am I? What do I believe? Then it becomes challenging still, but simple to look around and say, oh, this is not what I believe, and this is not how I'm going to continue. And then in that moment, we get to make a choice and change.
Beautiful. And that can happen, it sounds like, even in those challenging moments that we can check in and see and take that moment. powerful. Thank you for sharing. Is there a piece of advice that you would give our listeners today that are either perhaps they're in a storm right now and they're facing some challenges? Are there some tips that you'd like to give them or advice?
I could give so much. And, I think one of the biggest things to remember is that it will change. It will. And it's finding the right support system, being able to find the right tools and techniques. And that doesn't mean that you have to try everything. That just means that you've got to be open to learning something new and trusting yourself, and really remembering that if you look back at your life right now, even when you're in something hard, we look back and all of those challenges end up being the forks in the road. And I'm so grateful for some of the worst things in my life, because I wouldn't be who I am today and have the life that I did, or that I do, if I had made different choices and if some of those things hadn't happened. And so it's as hard as it is, and as much as we do want to move through it and fully immerse ourselves into our emotions and into our process so that we can come out on the other side, we've got to keep that little piece of ourselves toggled out and zoomed way out with that perspective of, your life is bigger than this moment. And it's okay to feel this and remember that there's more to it.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I love that example of those challenges being forks in the road, and we have decisions, and that this will pass. It is a piece, not the whole, and it can take on a different weight sometimes in our life. So that's really a beautiful, beautiful reminder. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. And listeners, as we get ready to go to our next commercial break, I want to give you an opportunity as those commercials play in the background, and those are updates and things that we want you to know about and be aware of. I want you to give yourself the opportunity to be present with what is being spoken into your heart and spirit. Some of what Mekita shared with you. Give yourself the opportunity to be present with it, to breathe and integrate it on a cellular level, as my grandma would say. Give yourself that opportunity to process real time those things that serve you and that you want to give yourself a moment to just pause and take in. And we'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Think you've seen everything there is to see in online television? Let us surprise you. Visit voiceamerica.tv today for sports, health, business, and more on demand 24/7.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Sustainable success is just around the corner. If you are an entrepreneur, business leader, or anybody looking for their next level of success, tune into Sustainable Success with host Chris Salem. Did you know that the path to success is a long path that started many years ago? The path you started on then determines what is happening now. Chris and his amazing guests in their field will help you navigate the path to sustainable success every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Time and 9 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Influencers Channel.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Tune in to the Voice America Variety channel on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Voice America Variety broadcasts a diverse array of topics, reaching a global community. Our experts come from all walks of life, and the topics they discuss are everything from current events, arts and entertainment, leadership, parenting, relationships, self-improvement, career advice, and a variety of other topics. Check us out today. You're sure to find something of interest. Voice America Variety. Talk on today's hot topics.
Change starts here. Change starts now. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes that you gave yourself the opportunity to just check in, process, see what's being spoken into your heart and spirit. You're going to have opportunities throughout our show today to do that, to build those muscles of listening and being present and processing. As we come back, I'm excited to introduce our next guest as we continue our conversation about how to overcome and thrive. How do we do that in our life? So David Fisher is an author, actor, and award-winning speaker. He has spoken on TEDx and has coached and lifted up speakers both locally and internationally. He's absolutely passionate about the power of connection that can be created when we share our vulnerability and share our stories. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful David Fisher to the show. Welcome!
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
You are welcome. We are thrilled to have you joining us today. And behind the scenes listeners, I was telling him I appreciated his energy because behind the scenes he's cheering everybody on and lifting us up. So
I am. Go, right.
I love it. So we're bringing that to the show for all of you because, it's important we remember to cheer each other on, that we encourage each other, that we lift each other up. And there is room for everybody to shine. So I'm just appreciating that about you, David. Thank you for bringing that today.
Absolutely. It's the coach in me.
I love it. Well, I'd love for you to share, as we start our conversation here, why is this work of helping others and creating that connection and being willing to bring that vulnerable part of ourselves, why is that work of helping people in that way personally so important to you?
That's a great question, Rebecca. And I never thought so. Growing up as I did a lot of acting when I was younger, and you're taught how to be vulnerable emotionally, but it's not your story. You're living out someone else's story. And about seven years ago, I was nearly homeless. And thanks to my mom who paid rent, I'd scrounge for coins in the couch. And if I'd find something, a couple dollars, I'd, great, kids, let's go out to McDaniel's for eating. Or do I pay for transit and go out and find work? And I had no one to lean into. I was new back in Canada. All of my friends were far away. There was really nobody I could look up to. There was no mentors. And it was really scary for me to find somebody and sort of take that step and say, I need help. I don't want to just sit around and complain. I actually need help. I want to grow. I want to change. And through a longer story of actually being able to do that, starting out on YouTube and finding people that can teach me to think differently, that's what gave me the courage and the personal development to actually go out and find people personally to help me become better. And that's scary. It's scary to kind of reach out and share your heart, especially when everything seems to be going wrong, but it's necessary.
Thank you for sharing that, because I think sometimes people see a snapshot of where we are now and they don't always know the journey and some of the challenges that have been faced. And that took great courage in that place that you were hurting and struggling to not only want help, but to go seek it out and find the type of help that you needed. And that required sharing where you needed help. And I think that takes great courage and is worthy of honor. and respect. And I'm curious if you find, because I know you've done so much to help so many people, what you would add to that conversation for those out there that are right now facing a challenge and needing help. Do you have a tip or a piece of advice that you can give them around that?
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. And I mean, the first tip is your listeners are already doing one step among many others, but one step is just listening to you, listening to your show. I started just saying, I need help. No one else is coming. I have to be my own hero. And I realized that when I saw a homeless guy on the street and thought, is this my destiny? Am I just going to be on the street? Is this how I'm going to feed my children? And something hit me and said, no, it can't, but I can't rely on somebody else. I have to take action myself. But we're not in a vacuum. My action had to then be to reach out. And I had nobody initially to reach out to, but then it was, okay, let's just start with YouTube. Let's Google motivational speakers or personal development or something and start shifting my mind. And then it's finding people around in your life. It could be joining in a meetup group or a Toastmasters or something where you meet other people that are also wanting to grow and develop and start to be able to establish those relationships. For me, it started with a couple different things, but at the end, it was a couple years ago, a group that I found of entrepreneurs, and I left the meeting one night and said, oh my God, I found my people. And it was a journey of searching and vulnerability and just taking your step into the water a little bit deeper and seeing who responds. And you will find that if you seek, it will find you.
Beautiful. And I'm hearing a lot of what you leaned into during that time, and even the advice you're giving today has to do with how we're thinking about things, how we're approaching things, and getting motivated and support. Sounds like it's so key to coming over challenges. It's how we're looking at things, what we're doing, and the actions we're taking.
It is, and so much of it, and one of the cautions that I make is I work and do a lot of workshops on storytelling and vulnerability, and one of the things that I always kind of joke about with people that I partner with is to say, we don't want a group of people just to sit around and complain for a couple hours and then leave. We want people that come in and say, no, I really want to change. I might be struggling right now. I might not know how to pay my rent, or my kids are rebelling, or whatever it might be, but I need support. I need help. I don't want to stay where I'm at. But if we make that shift in our mind, and that was for me a big shift, being around people who were successful or they had a positive mindset, because I was kind of as a victim. I would come and meet people and go, oh, I really need help. I hope you help me, rather than coming in and actually giving something to offer and being vulnerable and admitting that you might be struggling, but also being willing to offer something and also be willing to help and actually connect because you want to grow. Because we want to connect, not to stay there, but to grow.
Wonderful. Thank you. And to me, that sounds so much more empowering, being able to come and know that you can offer something, that you can be there, and you can make choices and move in a direction, move through that challenge. Now, is there a piece of advice or a tip that you can give us? So you've shared some of what you've overcome, and just if you're looking back, and is there was a piece of advice you could give somebody today to encourage them? So we've heard, getting into, it sounds like a great community, getting that support. Is there anything else you want to add to that as someone is getting ready to go back out into the world?
Sometimes it can be really overwhelming, because if you see the struggle that you're in and you see the person that you want to be, and there's this big chasm between the two, that you're not expected to jump across the Grand Canyon. You're just expected to take a hike up the mountain, one step. And so the big thing for me was when I realized I had to kind of be my own hero, and I started to listen and do a lot of personal development and be around people. I knew that I couldn't change overnight to the totality of who I wanted to be. And I'm still not there, but I can take another step. And so, okay, great. I'm going to start working out. I can't afford the gym because I'm almost homeless, but I'm going to start working out at home for 10 minutes. I'm going to start meditating for 2 minutes a day because I'd never done that before at the time. So you don't have to do everything all at once. take a tiny step. Instead of having a donut for breakfast, have a smoothie. I mean, something like that. Take that tiny step for you, and then the next day take another one.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'm so glad you shared that, because you're right. It can feel overwhelming, and especially when you're in it, in the challenge, and you're just trying to kind of see, what do I need help in? I think that's such an important reminder that we just take a step. And if that step feels too big, take a little bit smaller one. You said tiny steps, so tiny steps count. And just take one and then take another. So as we get ready to go to our next commercial break, listeners, I want you to think about, what is a step you can take, even if it's a tiny step, that you can take today, real time, to move forward in the areas you're wanting to move forward. And this is whether you're in the midst of a challenge or not. We all have opportunities to move forward and make choices. So let's spend these next 2 minutes stopping, pausing, listening, and integrating, and thinking about, what is the step I can take today? We'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN. Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Become a member of VoiceAmerica.com. It's easy, and best of all, it's free. Start out by going to our homepage or any of our channels and click Register at the top. Once you've created an account and signed in, you can create your own custom library, opt into our newsletter, search by show, host, guest, or topic of interest, or browse millions of hours of content across all of our Voice America radio channels. Membership gets you more. Visit VoiceAmerica.com today to get started and tailor the listening experience to your taste.
We don't follow, we lead. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes. You gave yourself an opportunity to think about, what is that tiny step, that one step that you're able and willing to take today to move towards those things that matter most to us. Because we get to make those choices. We get to move things forward in the areas and ways that matter most to us. And so I'm honored that one of the ways you're electing to do that is joining us today. And I want to encourage you to think about putting those steps into action as you move back into the world. But we've got a little bit more for you today. So we have another amazing expert. It's such a beautiful full show. And if you could all feel the energy behind the scenes of having these amazing experts together and connected, and the joy and the camaraderie and the celebration that is happening is truly beautiful. So I hope you're feeling that echo through in our conversation, our time together. So I want to introduce our next amazing expert. Her name is Dr. Julee Hafner. She holds a PhD, is a communication strategist, a John Maxwell certified speaker and coach, a DISC certified expert, and an author. She is absolutely passionate about helping leaders create create better results through better communication. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful Dr. Julee Hafner to the show. Welcome!
Oh, thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate that. Wonderful introduction.
Oh, you are so welcome. I feel like we should all be cheered and welcomed to a stage. I think that's important in our lives. And every day we have an opportunity to welcome ourselves as we start a day,
absolutely.
and greet it with purpose. So I'm happy to have you here today.
Thank you.
So as I was introducing you, the word communication popped up so many times in what you're doing and how you're impacting the world. And I'd love for you to share why communication and helping people create stronger communication so they get stronger results. Why is that work personally so important to you?
Well, Rebecca, I'll tell you, communication is really changing. The face of communication is no longer the way it used to be. And that's largely due to our, connections to the internet, social media, our phones, and unfortunately, I think we're actually changing in the hardwiring in our actual physiology, and because we're doing that, we're becoming more disconnected and more isolated than ever before.
Can you share a little bit more about that? I'm leaning in with great fascination of some of this disconnect that's being created in our actual wiring.
Absolutely. We are really disconnecting from our humanness. And the fact that we are using technology to speed up the connection tool, which is, social media or the phone or the computer or the email, we are actually shortcutting the hardwiring in our brains. And unfortunately, we fail to speak with our hearts. We fail to connect on a face-to-face manner. And this is really causing us alarm. Studies have shown that people spend more time staring at their cell phones than they do with the people that they're actually sitting in the same room with. Can you believe that?
I'm actually not surprised by that.
And I'm not surprised too. And the other thing is people have difficulty judging the closeness of this connection electronically. People get such fast results with technology, but we're not built that way. And, we all are all excited about how many Facebook friends do you have? But let me ask you, how many Facebook friends would come and get you out of a jam in the middle of the night? These are not true connections. So we kind of hide and stay safe behind this electronic technology. It's not the same as what we would hope to have. There are so many things communication-wise that just have changed. I mean, everything from how we communicate, why we communicate, even to the fact that we kind of have bad manners.
No, I think this is really important because especially if we're looking at challenges and overcoming and thriving, it's important we know who those real connections are and those real relationships. And are we truly communicating? I had a communication expert on our show not that long ago, and she was talking about in media how companies are spending on average 20 hours a week correcting miscommunications because there's so much information out there that's being sent out and so quickly that is creating confusion. And I'm curious if you're seeing that in how people are communicating in companies and with each other too, if that's echoing out into that.
Yeah, and remember that even though we use a lot of words to communicate, whether it be in sales or just you and your friends, it doesn't really matter. That's what part of that is the words we speak, but there's the underlying subtle message that goes along with it. The fact that you and our listeners were all in this social, this electronic communication. You hear my voice, but you don't see the messages underneath it. The excitement that I feel over being on your show. You can't tell that. You can tell it a little bit in my voice, but one of the books that I wrote was The 7 Tactics to Communication Connections, which is all about those subtle messages that we're shortcutting by using a lot of technology. And again, unfortunately, it's creating us to feel unhappy and disconnected, which is what it's supposed to do. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh, Yeah. No, I think this is really important that we're paying attention, and we can be confused or think connections are a certain way or in a certain level, and they may not be. And I think this is important for us to pay attention to how we are wiring our brain. And I know one of the things that you feel very strongly about is unlearning. And that is really important when facing challenges. And so I'd love for you to explain what is unlearning and how does
the other area of my expertise, which is, and a lot of people don't know what that is. I've built a research career on it, so I kind of feel like I understand it because I've researched it. Basically, it's all about the art of change. How do we change? And we all know, and I think the other speakers have talked about it, making choices and creating change in our lives. Well, we have to create change because the impact of change on us is never ending. If you're a business owner, you want to remain competitive, you've got to change, you've got to meet the times. If you're someone that's getting a new job or doing whatever, you need to be able to unlearn. So unlearning is basically creating the change in your life that you need to. Well, how do you do that? How do you do that? You have to go through several sets of steps that will help you to discard the old thoughts, the old beliefs, and the old actions to produce some better results in your life.
Beautiful. And so we can, it sounds like, unlearn those things that are not serving us through a process and then learn, it sounds like, things that are serving us and move forward in that.
Exactly, because your current beliefs and procedures and everything, they arise through a lot of different things, whether it be the people you hang out with or the people that you're working with, or social media, again, electronic communications, the books you read, the things you do for activities. And one of the problems is some things do not serve you. To be able to identify those things and decide that, yes, I'm going to be able to change. That's a real big opportunity for overcoming any kind of obstacle that you face.
Beautiful. And do you have a tip or a way that we could either, one, recognize something needs to shift, or two, can help us start learning or rewiring things in a positive way?
Well, yes. I did create a model. It's called the Art in Us model. It helps the individual, and I do a lot of coaching with that, and I talk to businesses and industry about it. It's all about creating things like awareness, creating the rationale as to why you're going to change in the first place. Hey, I got a problem, now I know I've got a problem. And then creating and pulling in the tools. I think one of our former guests talked about the tools that you might need, and the support systems and the communication skills in order to create that change that you need to make.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that, because sometimes we don't know where to start or recognize, so that's helpful to have some direction.
Process, for sure.
Yeah. And so I would also add being extra kind to ourselves as we're starting to explore.
Yeah, and supporting yourself, supporting and acknowledging that, yes, I am doing this and I'm making progress every day. That is the Kaizen way. 1% incremental improvement every day compounded will make you'll be on your way and you'll get there.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. And listeners, as we get ready to go to our next break here, I want to give you these 2 minutes to stop, think about what is being placed on your heart and spirit. Give yourself a moment to process, and we'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
We don't follow, we lead. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that break. It was a little bit shorter than 2 minutes. You may have noticed that, but we wanted to make sure we had time at the end of the show to give contact information for everybody. So we're going to go around the room quickly because I want you to be able to have the same access to experts that I do. So we're going to go around the room, and I encourage you to write down the contact information so the expert that you're resonating with or multiple you're able to connect in with further. So, Mekita, can you share how people can follow you or connect in with you?
Everyone can connect with us on consciously.org. It's CONSCIOUSLY.org, and all of our phone numbers and booking and contact and email is on there.
Perfect. Thank you. And then, David, how can people connect in with you?
Yeah, they can reach me at davidfish.ca, FISH.ca, davidfish.ca. And if you go to davidfish.ca/thrive, there's a gift for your listeners as well.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. And then,
You're
Dr.
welcome.
Julee, how can they connect in with you?
Okay, my website is www.DrJuleeHafner.com, and it's DrJuleeHaf as in Frank, NER.com.
Perfect. Great. So everyone, I hope that you wrote that down and you have the opportunity to connect in with our amazing experts that are leaning into you and helping support you in overcoming challenges. And as we get ready to go back out into the world, I wanted to just remind you of a few things that we talked about today, that it's small steps count. You can go with the flow. Be extra kind to yourself. Be willing to go on the journey. Be your own hero. These are some of the key points that we talked about today. And pay attention to how your brain is being wired around connection and communication. And is there a shift that needs to take place there to help you move forward, to help you thrive powerfully in your life? So as those challenges come, you're able to not only survive, but thrive. And I want you to know that we are here every week to support you, to empower you, and uplift you. And I want to encourage you to lean in, find those shows, find those programs, and that community that can lean into you. And when you forget your greatness, they can hold up a mirror and remind you of it. Because you are beautifully and wonderfully made, absolutely needed in this world for such a time as this. Be willing to share the gift of who you are. Be willing to bloom where you're planted and shine. We'll look forward to talking to you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Influencers Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.